Hey everybody, what's up? What is up? What is up? Somebody give me a 5 for 5 and we will roll right on through. Roll right on through. Somebody could, I would really appreciate it. It would help me to get a 5 for 5 in there. How about that? Hope everybody's doing good today, Sunday. All right, 5 for 5. Thank you, Piper. Appreciate you. Thanks for everybody being here. I do appreciate it. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and start talking about what we're going to talk about. I'm going to say hi real quick, though. If you guys could give me a 6 by 5. Good one, Steven. Give me a roll call in there, guys. Not exactly where you're at, but just kind of give me a general region. That would be cool. Like to know where you guys are at. Yeah. Hope you guys are having a good weekend. I will be trying to start up memberships this week. I've been working on that this weekend. I actually, believe it or not, I hurt my hip. Stupidest thing in the world. Got up to go light a candle when I felt things crack and pop in my hip that I haven't never felt in my life. It was, yeah, it was pretty bad. But I'm doing okay now. But it sucks getting old. Just so you know. Just so you know, those of you out there that don't. But yeah, how is my audio, guys? Is it too low? Is it too high? Somebody give me because I could turn it up. Is that a little better? That might be a little better. That way, people that can't hear can hear that. But people, if it's too loud, you might be able to turn your end down. Hey, Hilly, what's up? Are you in geosynchronistic orbit? Are you, Hilly? Heck yeah. Over the same part of the planet all the time? I would say that you're probably rotating at 15 degrees an hour also. Just saying. Guys, get over and check out Hilly. Go over and check out Brian too. Anybody that is or is not a Christian can go check those channels out, guys. They do some really good Bible studies. Both of them are awesome people. So please go check them out. I think they're both in my featured list. I'm still putting all my featured channels in there. It's taking me a minute to get everything over there. I'm trying to tidy up the channel a little bit, make sure people know where things are at. I will be making also, guys, something else I'm working on. I'm going to be making some, just basic space weather definition videos. I've got a few of them out there in a playlist right now. There's like 3 of them. I think one of them's solar wind, what's a CME, but I don't talk in any of them. So I'm going to change that. I can do better, is what I'm trying to say. That way when people have questions on what something is, like, what's a CME, what's a solar flare, all of that. Hey, Leah, what's up? Good to see you, Raven. Hey, V. But anytime anybody has questions on any kind of definitions that I'm talking about, I can point you guys to the playlist, and it'll be like a 1 or 2 minute video. It definitely will help people that don't have a really good grasp on what the definitions are. I mean, you can pause it, rewind it, and all those kinds of things. So I'm working on those definitions for you guys because I think it's important to understand that. But yeah, and I'm also working on some new intro stuff. Those of you guys used to love my old intro music. I loved it too. I cannot use it. I was able to use it for like 3.5 years. And then at that point, they no longer had a contract with the recorder I was using. So it got copyrighted from that point forward. So I had to stop using it a while back. But anything before that, I could still use it. It's just now it's copyrighted and all that. And I had to, back out all that. And also, before we get going, most of you guys know who Mark Pyers is. If you don't, go check him out. Mark Pyers Inspires. Mark Inspires is his channel name. He's on Mark Inspires TV right now because they've got him shut down for 7 days for a strike. So please go over and support him over there if you could. I just want to let everybody know that happened to Mark. So we got to support each other, guys, and stuff like that's happening. So he's on his second channel right now. It's called Mark Inspires TV. If one of my mods could drop that link in there, that would be awesome. But yeah, So let's just get moving forward with space weather. I know that took me a second to say, but and again, guys, my super chat thing's open now too. I'm gonna be starting up, memberships and all that. Don't ever feel obligated. And I might mention that once a video here for the next couple weeks. But after that, I won't even mention any of that. I just don't. I don't even like mentioning it at all. But it's there. So anyway, what do we got going on? Well, we've got some stuff getting ready to come at us. Okay, and it's interesting because we took some hits, but we did not get into geomagnetic storming. And I'm going to attempt to show you why. What I'm going to do here, and as I'm speaking here, I'm going to try to open up my Dropbox. I don't know if you guys can see any of that or not. You might not be able to, but we'll see. Yeah, so you guys can't see that, but you might be able to see this if I drop it into did it go? I hope. Well, that didn't go that time, but is it going to go there or not? Nope, it's not going to let me do it, guys. I was going to try to show you the hit, but I got another way to show you. So we took a hit a couple days ago, but we did not get into storm level, and it's quite interesting because our density got up to 100, over 100. Okay, and anybody that's been watching me for any length of time, 100 on the density is high. You would almost expect a CME, or not CME, but a geomagnetic storm with that. And we did not see it. And I'm going to, hey, Baytown. What's up, Stephanie? Anyway, we are going to, we did not see it, and I'm going to show you why. It's really interesting, and it actually confirms what I've been trying to tell everybody. So let's just jump into that real quick. Now, guys, our flaring slowed down. And the main reason is because the sunspots are kind of rotating off, right? We had that big hyperactive sunspot that was firing flare after flare after flare after flare, right? It's no longer doing that. That sunspot actually kind of stabled out quite a bit, and now it's actually rotated off. It's not even facing us anymore. So that one's not really an issue for now, but we got two more coming in. Well, I'm going to say more than two probably, but you guys can kind of see over here where it's bright. This is SDO, again, the satellite in geosynchronistic orbit, as Hilly was saying he is. It's over the same part of the planet all the time. I show you guys this all. This is actually GOES. But SDO gives us the same point of view. So these things are rotating towards us. What's interesting is we had two big eruptions over here. Okay, they got fired off to our side, right? And it is the east. It's backwards when you look at the sun. Always remember that. You got to pretend you're on the surface of the sun looking up. So east is actually would be to your left. All right. Depending on where you're standing, obviously. But we've also got a sunspot that kind of popped up right in the middle here. And it did look like it might start getting active. And something else, these two coronal holes right here, we connected to these things, and we're going to be getting solar wind from that. Right now, they're not forecasting. This is NOAA's official forecast. Okay? They're not forecasting any geomagnetic storms, but I actually do think that that's probably going to change. Maybe not in the next 3 days, but on the end of that third day, into the fourth, I could see us definitely getting into some storms. Okay, and it's also interesting right now. If we go down here and look at the Aurora Oval right here, this is actually becoming a little bit more active right now because we're actually getting some space weather. And you're probably asking, what happened to those ones that were supposed to give us storms? Well, they hit. Okay, so let me show you. I'm going to take you over to the not German, but the Australian. Shout out to my Aussies. This is the Australian magnetopause model. This model here is giving us the same data as this one. Okay, it's just a different visual, right? So, and you can see we got a lot of pressure hanging around our planet right now, and there's a reason for that. So, but I can show you the hits here, and I believe, what day did that happen? I think it was on the 26th. Now, so you got the satellite line right here, right? That's where all the satellites orbit. This is our bow shock. It's the first point of contact. Solar wind hits our magnetic field, and that's called the bow shock, that point of contact. Now, it was interesting because we got a hit of like 100, like really fast, and then the density went away just as fast as it came. So, probably what was happening there is we had two CMEs coming at us. Remember I tell you guys about the buildup in between two CMEs when one's moving faster behind it? It's like a snowplow, right? So all those particles dense up right there in between those two CMEs, and it acts itself almost like a CME. It's a shock wave and it hits. I think that's what happened. Okay, I could be wrong, but it did look, because as quick as it came, it left. I'm trying to figure out what day it was. We'll be able to see here in just a second. Yeah, that's the day right there. You guys see how that thing went inside our satellite line right there? And I'm going to show you why that happened. So let's take it back to the 25th again. I'm going to try to pause it, and we'll take a little better look at this. Oops. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to pause that. We'll go back to the 25th. We'll let that thing load. But okay, there it goes. I'm going to pause it. And I'm going to show you the density here, because it gives us all the data here too. That's the solar wind speed right there. Okay. This right here is the density. Normal is 4. Okay. So with that being said, hit the wrong button. Let's go back here again. So with that being said, I am going to play this again. And we'll pause it when it starts to... Okay, I'm going to... Right there. I believe that's when it happened. So I'm going to back it up one frame. Okay, you guys see that density right there? 58. It went from like 4 to 58 really, really quick. And then it didn't do it again. Okay? So we took a big hit right there. Oh, there was a bigger one. Sorry, I got to do it this way. My Dropbox wouldn't let me, for whatever reason, I couldn't download it on my computer. Let me back this up. Come on. Man, that's back. Okay. That's 36 right there. Okay, there it is. You guys see that? 125. I laugh every time I see that. You know, I thought it might have been like a clerical error type of thing. The model or the data entry was wrong over on Discover, but all of them showed this. Okay, so you guys see what it did to our bow shock. This is, I think it's kind of like the side swiping effect from those CMEs that were coming at us, and they just kind of missed us a little bit, and we still caught just the side, and it just kind of, you got to think of, you know, the Earth is going through space like a boat goes through water. Okay? We're always swimming into solar wind, plasma, all the time. That's always present. So when those things kind of get pushed, it's just like, you know, you get the wake areas on a lake or close to the shore on an ocean. You get like the no wake zones. Well, it's like somebody disregarded that and went 80 miles an hour on a speedboat right in front of you and shot all this stuff over at you. Doesn't last very long, but it's intense when it does, right? That's exactly what happens here. So if you can kind of see that, I hope you guys understand what I'm saying here. And so what I'll do here is I'll just, and see how it's really, really quick. I mean, it just doesn't last long. I'm talking like maybe a half hour. And, you know, I recorded the movie tool of this, okay? And that's what I was trying to show you. I can't go back and look at the archive data on this. You got to catch it when it happens. But we took it was some pretty decent looking hits. I might have even showed it to you on the live stream with Trinity the other day. I can't remember if that's correct or not. But that's velocity right there, guys. Sun's off to the left, and it's sending all of its energy towards us, right? At least that's what we're looking at here. And again, that's roughly representing the bow shock. You can kind of see. Now, people have asked me, what's the difference in the reds and the blues? Why is it 600 here and negative 600 here? Well, remember, we're talking about magnetics here. It's polarity, right? So what that does is that allows us to assign a direction in which it's traveling. So the negative numbers are actually traveling from basically from the left to the right. And then the blue numbers, the blue areas are actually going the opposite direction. So then the next question I always get, why do we see the blue stuff behind us? Well, because it's a reconnection point, okay? When we deflect this, at some point, the polarity kind of reverses and we get these little reconnection events that happen. It does circle back around and it does do this. Now, I will say this, we do get space weather from behind us too. We get cosmic rays from all directions. Okay? So, we don't want to ignore that either. But our main protection is out in the front. That's because we're trying to protect ourselves from the sun. Our magnetic field is. Okay? So, I'll leave that at that. But at the same time, that was, we're not really getting a whole heck of a hard hit right now. But this is density right here. And the density, the light colors are lower dense. And then the blues, darker blues, are the higher dense particles. And then you got the pressure. We all understand what pressure is. This is magnetic pressure. Now you're going to see, I'm just going to pause it. And you're going to see how stuff slowly increased. Okay? Why did it do that? Well, because it wasn't an abrupt hit like I was showing you here. Okay? It was a slow increase. So when that stuff happens like that, our magnetic field has a pretty decent chance of fending most of it off. Okay? And I've shown you guys how when we take real hard hits in the front, it almost looks like it peels back our bow shock, but it doesn't, okay? Our bow shock's doing what it's supposed to do, okay? It is deflecting it, trying to do what it can. And, with that being said, that just is what it is. So, but yeah. Let me ask you guys something here real quick. You guys I want an honest answer, okay? Would you guys, are you guys interested in even doing the membership thing? So I can do members only streams and try to do stuff like that? And if you are, please let me know some ideas of what you guys want extra. Now, the content here isn't going to change at all for what I've always given you. I'm just going to add extra stuff. But I need ideas of what you guys want. That's basically what I'm saying. And don't feel obligated to do any of that either. I'm trying to get everything set up. That's all. So, anyway, we got that, okay? Not much is going on at the moment with geomagnetism. So let me show you guys one of the CMEs that blew off the sun on the backside. See this one? This is the NASA model, and this NASA model is showing it, and it's pretty decent, okay? That's a decent little CME there. We had one very similar to that, came from the same region, but it was just a little bit more directly towards the back, okay? So that's two in less than 2 days, okay? So what's happening is, you got to remember that these things are going to rotate towards us now. It's going to be facing us in the next couple days. So what I'm saying is, if anything else blows off the sun like that, it's probably going to come at us. Now, this is the geoelectric field model. This is the geoelectric field at the surface, okay? They're using this to try to help forecast CMEs, not CMEs, but earthquakes. Space weather has an effect on everything, guys. The sun is the biggest influencer on anything that you could ever imagine. Everything we do in our life is influenced by the sun. Matter of fact, if you guys want to know what it can do to your health, go check out Ben Davidson's last couple videos, Suspicious Observer. he actually talks about some of the studies and what it can do to you, your health wise. Okay, it directly affects our health. So you guys need to understand that this is not just something that, you know, possibly could happen or this, that, and the other. I know when we think about space, we think about stuff real far away and it's not really going to affect us right away. Well, that stuff does. Okay, so when we take the bigger hits, yes, it can affect our health, especially people with like heart problems and things like that. It affects our mental capacities. It can make us, well, all, you know, just using a term everybody understands, it can make us go crazy. It can make us get depressed. It can make us just, you know, I hate to be like, this is a negative thing to say, but there's so many studies out there that when we take these hits, you know, unaliving yourself, those percentages skyrocket. Okay, that is not a coincidence. It's been directly tied to it. Okay, so there's research out there, and I tend not to really show that stuff because I think it's hard for me to talk about. I'll just leave it at that. But anyway, because I had my own bout with that a long time ago. Okay, matter of fact, I talked about my bout with that over on Tommy's channel, The Lifeboat, which I used to co-host. Guys, get over and check him out too. Ripper's in here too. Check out Ripper. Hey Trish, I talked about that, and just me talking about what happened to me 10 years ago, guys, just me talking about it over there messed me up for like 2 months. If you guys go back and look at my content, I took a really hard break right there on this channel even, because I had to get my mind right. So, I mean, I wasn't like in danger of doing anything like that, but it really did affect me mentally to the point where, yeah, I had to get myself back. I'm still not all the way there, but I'm working towards it. So, I'm okay. Don't everybody be worried about me or nothing like that. It's just, this space weather has effects on us. And I'm not saying that's what caused it in my instance, but I did talk about it. I talked about it over there, and just, I thought I was in a place where I could. In my mind, and it brought back stuff I hadn't thought about for a long time, and I had to work through it again. So anyway, I'm gonna get off that negative bull crap right now. But go over and check out Tommy on The Lifeboat, and you guys check out Johnny. Oh my God, go over and watch his Hulu special. If you guys don't have Hulu, go check out Super Hots on Hulu. That's Johnny Scoville. That's Tommy's brother. It's an awesome series, man. Please go check him out. He's the GOAT of eating hot stuff. Anyway, so let's check out seeds, okay? So what we're going to do, I'll take us back here to the 22nd. We'll just walk through this a little bit. This is Soho, and I'm going to back that off a second. See this right here? That's the Earth. Soho's here, okay? It's right out in front of us, looking at the sun. It's as if you went outside and looked up at the sun, but the satellite's about 1 million miles closer to the sun than what we are. And I'll leave it at that. But this is a black occulter disk. That's a physical disk. It has to be there. Block out the main light from the sun. If it wasn't there, we couldn't get any captures at all. But this is a CME that, frankly, guys, we dodged a bullet on this one. If this one would have came right at us, and I talked about this before, we would have been talking to G4 storms, most likely. Okay? So, anyway. That was on the 22nd, so let's go to the next day. See how active the sun still is? A lot of these are actually going off the backside. Remember, with this black occulter disk, we can't tell if it's going directly behind us or coming right at us, directly the other way or coming right at us. Okay? Because we'll see like a halo effect, almost like a shadow around this occulter disk. When that happens, it's doing one of two things. It's either coming right at us or it's going the opposite direction. Okay? So with that being said, we'll go over here to the 24th. Okay, we're just constantly getting stuff. It's a constant thing here. And this is a difference image on the left, and the red on the right is more of a visual, like a real visual. I'm not going to explain how this difference images work right now. It does take some explanation to understand what you're actually looking at. But I use it because it gives us a good contrast to actually see things, right? So that's the 26th. Oh, yeah, and happy birthday to my dad on the 25th and my wife on the 27th. And happy birthday to my nephew on the 22nd. My mother-in-law on the 23rd or 4th. Had a lot of birthdays this past week. Anyway, so you see how we're getting eruptions there. That's the 27th. That was yesterday. Those are those two eruptions. Okay? Let's go to the 28th. That's today. There's the second one. So you see both the eruptions. Now you're going to see one fire this direction too. Watch what happens over here. See that? Woof. That was a fast one. Okay? So, let me, I'm just going to pause that. We'll go over here to SDO. What do we got here? We're going to go back just, I guess, let's just take it back to the 27th. And we will take a look at the 171. I don't typically show you guys this one a whole lot, but it does give us a good view of the corona itself. Now, the corona, guys, remember, the atmosphere of the sun's hotter than the surface. Okay? So when we're talking about coronal holes and things like that, it's the actual atmosphere of the sun opening up, exposing the surface. And when that happens, plasma just floods out. Okay? So what are we looking at here? These are these areas that fired off the big ones on the backside. So they're going to be coming into they're rotating towards us. Okay? These areas are rotating in to look at us. So when that happens, we got to be on really be on our toes here to pay attention to what's going on. And see, do you guys see that one? That one fired off that direction. And what you're not seeing is a whole lot of action right in front of us right now. But I do look for that to change fairly quickly. We're going to take a look at the 211 also. Now the 211, when I'm saying those numbers, that's angstroms. That's a part of the light spectrum. Our eyes can see very little of the actual light spectrum. Very little. So they can assign this any color they want. So they pick out an angstrom of light. And what they're looking at, trying to do, is look at specific gases. Okay, because it gives us visuals, different visuals. And as you can see here, these are corona holes. See how deep and dark those are? Those are pretty decent sized ones, guys. Okay? No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Also, we had a solar tornado down here. I guess I'll show you that. It's always interesting to see those. See it right there? Now remember, it's not wind on the sun. What is that, right? What that is, it's a magnetic connection line, and you have charged particles traveling on that connection line. So it's picking that up, and it's just moving in that direction. That's the direction the connection line is moving. The particles on that line. It's not like you go outside and you put the drop top down and go cruise, right? Nothing like that. There ain't no wind blowing on you. The sun ain't out here farting on us. I guess if you guys want to use that, yeah, sorry. That might have been a little too much. Anyway, let's back that off again. So this is the 211, and it does show corona holes really well. Now this is SDO, and what I'm going to do here, I'm going to take you guys real quick. I should have done this before I even did this. See where if you click on home, you go over here, where is SDO? This is what Hilly was talking about a minute ago, guys. This satellite's in geosynchronistic orbit. This is the satellite, where it's at currently. It always does this figure 8 pattern, and it rotates with us around our axis at 15 degrees an hour. So it stays here, but it's always keeping its eye, like the Lord of the Rings eye, on the sun. So that's what this satellite does. I just wanted to point that out because so people have a better understanding. Now, let's go over here to the 94 real quick. And as we're looking at the 94, come on. All right, thank you. That ain't going. Thing was moving like a snail. I do want to show you the Discover data. I'm going to let that one load, and I'll show you guys something different real quick. This is the Discover data right here getting ready to pop up. And so as we're popping up here, come on. Are you kidding me? Good Lord. Thing is moving like a snail. Okay, so why did that dense hit, right? Why did this not cause a geomagnetic storm? You guys see this number right here? That's the BZ. It was at 1.3 on the positive side. What's that mean? It means we were nowhere close to -6. The BZ was above the 0 line. And remember what I said before. When we get to -6, the polarity matters over a magnetic field. That's basically what this is. Okay? Gas is charged, right? That's plasma. That's what's hitting us. So because it has a charge, it's affected by magnetics. The polarity of it itself affects it drastically. Okay? So if we're in a positive orientation, it tends to block things. That's why this is so important, and it proved itself out. Okay? I guess I could change this to 3-day. Let's go back. See if it lets us see it. What day was that? Was the 25th? It might grab it. Trying to see where that big dense hit was. Was this it? Nope. Got to go back one more day. So we'll go back and we'll look at the 7-day. Okay. So let's see if I can't find it. What the heck? What'd I do there? Alright, I just screwed it all up. Sorry. Oh my gosh. Let's just go back to 7-day. Come on. Bring it back to me. There it is. I think it's right here. Yeah, it's on the 25th. But do you see what happened here? See how we went positive? Like, for a good amount of time? There's hardly anything in the -6 area. So that's why, guys. That is why this hard hit right here did nothing. We deflected it. Our magnetic field did its job. So, yeah. I mean, that's just what it did. So, take you back over to SDO. And I know I'm kind of jumping around here a little bit, but yeah, it is what it is. This is another part of the light spectrum. They signed this one green. We tend to see like little bright flashes on this one. It shows us where the flaring is and all that. So, again, these are more, I just want to show you this one because you can see the active areas. Also, I'm probably going to start showing you guys, there's a model out there that shows us the backside of the sun, and they map it out by using seismic activity on the sun. And it became pretty accurate, okay? So we can kind of tell what's coming at us. Now, some of these sunspots most likely survived a full lap around the sun, and they're coming back in. Remember a couple 3 weeks ago, we're talking X-flares, right? Some of these areas are in that same area from those same sunspots. So if those things are going to be getting active again, you know, we got to really pay attention, is what I'm trying to say. So, and I realize too, guys, I understand that there's so much other things going on in the world. And if I'm being frank with you guys, those things that are happening are probably way more important than what I'm talking about. Just saying. Hey, Miss Dragon, good to see you. Hey, Trish. So, yeah, so you're not going to hurt my feelings. First off, Wages World is best. I'm doing my best work when I'm helping others be their best. Okay, I've always been good at that. And I've been so fortunate to have you guys trust me to go check out other people. That right there is my I don't know, it's the best thing I can do. Because the more people I can help, the more people that can help you guys, right? Understand things. So, but I also want to say this. Sometimes you got to circle back and focus on what you're doing specifically for a short time so you can keep your skills honed in and allow people to come, more people come here so I can get them to the other channels that are talking about stuff too. Okay? That's my goal. I measure my success by the people that are around me's success. And that's the God's honest truth. I've always taken that back seat, and it doesn't hurt my feelings. A lot of times it's a choice, but I can't come out front, and that's what I'm doing right now. So I hope you guys see that. I really do hope you guys appreciate that too. I do put a lot of effort into this. It's way more effort than what people that don't have channels know about. I can tell you that. And I wish I could shout every channel out every time, but I can't. That's why I'm making a featured channel section. But yeah. So, what can we look for here, right? What are we looking at this coming week? Well, guys, we're just going to watch this. That's what's going to happen. Now, this is Noah's forecast. Remember, you see this right here? This will give us 2 days historic data, and then it tries to forecast 5 days in advance. I don't do that. I nowcast. When things are happening from here to 24 hours ahead of us, that's when I'm pretty kind of confident about what I'm talking about. There is no confidence level here when they're talking 5 days out for me. It's just never correct. It just really isn't. And I think they kind of know that. And the reason I say that, this is one of the models that they will continuously change. When they get new data, when something isn't exactly how they thought it was, they will come on here and change it, which I think is awesome. You'll have other people say, well, they're trying to do this and they're trying to do that when they change something. No, when they tried to tell you something was going to happen 5 days out, and 4 days into it, they see, well, that data was a little different. Would you want them just to leave it the same? No, you would still want them to change that so you knew exactly what was coming at you. At least what they thought, right? So, keep that in mind, guys. Anyway, you can see here where our BZ, this is the ACE. This is essentially the same stuff as this over here. It's just in a different format. What I will say, guys, we are taking some sort of hit right now. It could be from a coronal hole. It could be from anything. It's not a hard hit, and that's why I'm not really concerned about it. But this is kind of giving us the same data, but the BZ here is actually taking a dive. It's close to -6. So what I'm saying is, if we get any kind of space weather, you're going to see aurora increase. You're going to see all these other things start happening. Okay? And, we've been blindsided before. They're called stealth CMEs. And it's exactly what you think it is. It's a CME that nobody's seen. And we're getting better at detecting those, but it's not perfect. It really isn't. We'll get hit sometimes like right on the nose, too. I'm talking like G3 storms that nobody's seen coming. So this science is not perfect, and that's why we work at it. So yeah. Now, so I'm going to take you guys back over here to SDO one more time because I want to show you guys something I don't usually show you. I've shown it before. We're going to look at the polarity of the sunspots themselves. That's what this is going to show us. Hey, Donald. Donald Wages. What's up? Okay. I'm not sure who you all even are. Okay. You got my last name, I'll tell you that. Alright. Anyway. This is the polarity, right? So I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to let you guys take a look at this because this is important to understand. And when I say important, it really truly is. This right here will help you understand why sunspots erupt and why some of them don't. And what I'm going to do here, I am going to I'm going to have to back off a little bit here. I'm going to pause it. Okay, and we're going to zoom into this area right here. Okay, these are sunspots that were erupting. Okay, so sunspot polarity. It's going to be opposite in the north than what it is in the south. How do we know that's polarity? Well, they indicate that by red and blue here. Okay, so it should be horizontal, or roughly horizontal. So when you see a sunspot, its polarity should be left to right, right to left. Okay, or roughly. I mean, it can be like this or whatever. But when you see a sunspot, say this blue spot was here, that would be directly north-south. Those are rare. 3% of sunspots do that. And when they do that, they become very hyperactive. They become very, very active sunspots. You know, it's just because, first off, it's doing something that shouldn't typically be doing. And I don't think they have a full understanding why either. Why that happens 3% of the time. But you see how this is kind of mixing together? When you see that, understand that when that starts mixing together like that, the polarities are getting close to each other, and that's when we see flares and eruptions. These sunspots don't have to flare to have a CME. It can destabilize a whole region of the sun, and dark filaments can just start erupting out. Okay, and that is solid plasma, guys. That's that big eruption I showed you guys over here on seeds. Okay? This one back here. I think it was on the 22nd, wasn't it? Take it back to the 22nd here. Yeah. So right here. Watch it right there. Right there. Okay? That was a filament, guys. That wasn't a flare. There was no flare with that. So, and I know it's hard for people to kind of wrap their brain around it, right? Well, Carrington, the Carrington event, Dr. Carrington, he's the one that pretty much figured out, and at least he's given credit for figuring out, hey, a CME is different than a flare, right? So, they oftentimes happen at the same time, but a flare is measured by X-ray. Okay? Up here. Geomagnetic activity is what the KP is, how we measure CMEs hitting. Okay, it's charged particles, guys. Highly charged. And I can say pretty confidently now that we are taking some sort of hit. Look at this. Right here. You see this? We're up to a 3 on the KP. We haven't been at a 3 for 3 days now. Do I think we're going to get a geomagnetic storm? I don't know. I'm gonna dive more into that here in a few minutes and maybe come back later on tonight. Probably not tonight, but I'll probably be back on tomorrow morning, early afternoon type of thing. But yeah, so that's what's happening with that. I don't know if we're going to get a geomagnetic storm or not. Can't really give you a good idea on that right now. But as far as the polarity here, guys, just understand when those things start mixing together, that's when we got to look at it. Now, you see how this is left, right? Now, you're going to notice how this is blue on the left and red on the right. Now, if you go down to the southern hemisphere, it's supposed to be the reverse of that, right? So, I'm not sure if we got one in the southern hemisphere right now. Let's take a look. Huh. Okay. So, you see this area here, you got green and then the yellow reds. Then you go up here to the north, you got the greens on this side and the yellow reds over here. So, what I'm saying is that the polarities are opposite there, and it's going to be different in each hemisphere. Now, when you start getting close to the equatorial regions, they can kind of almost match each other. Okay? Looking at this, you can see the polarity left to right here. It looks like it's left to right here too, but I can't say for certain. Those cores might not be deep enough to really call it a good suggestion there, or there could be one of those rare ones. I don't know. But we'll just have to wait and see. This one's rotating off. That one was hyperactive though. That, maybe it was because of something like that. I didn't really look into that last time. All I know is we were getting activity from there. You know? So, anyway, let me back this off. So that's how you guys look at the polarity of it. It's important, but it's not the most important thing for me to show you every time. But to give you guys an idea of what I was talking about today, that's why. But yeah. So now, this right here is our magnetic pressure. When we see that happening, yeah. But I do want to stress this, okay? I got the 125 density. And I love this Australian magnetopause model. Shout out to my Aussies again. When this can get pushed back inside this satellite line, guys, and it exposes the satellites to direct space weather. You can see how our bow shock's here, so our magnetic field's actually giving protection to these satellites. So when that drops in there, this can actually take down satellites, guys. And oftentimes they'll put them in safe mode. When they see these things coming, like the really hard ones, or it actually has an auto safe mode too. If it senses something that the human at the desk can't turn on or off quick enough, it'll shut itself down. And that's it. That's in an effort to protect the components and the satellite itself. All right. So understand that. But these things can take down satellites, and I'm not going to get into the lunar lander that went bad and is falling back to Earth. But, those kinds of things happen, is what I'm trying to say. And that's proof of it. Now, whatever your opinion is on that is your opinion on the lunar lander. I'm not talking about that. So, there's a lot of people on both sides of that. So, I'm not even going to touch it because I don't really have an opinion, to be honest with you. I think everybody's opinion is valid. And people need to decide what they believe on their own. I'm not here to tell you what to believe. So I'm here just to share what I think I'm doing and everything and doing okay. Hey, Jeff P, good to see you, buddy. Jeff P's in the house. Show him some love, guys. Say, we love you, Jeff. We love you. So, anyway, guys, I am going to go ahead and pop off. I really hope you guys come back tomorrow. And again, remember, guys, I am starting up memberships. I got some stuff I really want to do for you guys, and hopefully you guys can support me there. It would really, I'm really in a position now where I need to do something like that. And so I'm going to be working on that, and I'm going to make it worth your while, is what I'm saying. So that's going to be coming probably this week, probably early this week. I've been working on it. You're going to get special emojis you can use in the chat, and other things, lots of other things I'm thinking about. So also remember, guys, I'm going to be broadcasting the total eclipse that's coming in April. Okay. I'm in the path to totality for quite some time. And they're looking at my town being completely just obliterated with people. They're telling us it's going to take us 3 hours to drive across town. And my town is not that big. Got like 25,000 people where I live. Okay. So with that happening, I'm going to be doing that, and I'm going to try to bring it to you guys live. Hey, Elizabeth. Well, thank you, Elizabeth. I really appreciate that. I really do. I do appreciate that. So, anyway, as you guys can see there, guys, seeds is still blowing off there. But listen, anything that happens, I'll be on here if it's big time news right away. I always am. Anything that, can wait, I'm probably going to wait. Because you got to have some patience here to let the data come in and to give you guys a more accurate depiction of what's going on. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and pop off, guys. God bless. Yahusha saves, and you can drink this Kool-Aid.